Hey guys, no cam today because I want to be able to showcase the whole talent tree so everyone can see exactly what I'm talking about. I actually recorded this all with my cam and then realized that my cam was covering up like a quarter of the screen. So we're going to redo this and we're going to go over all these talents, all the changes, and we're going to discuss a lot of things here. So immediately we're going to start over here on the elemental tree. As you can see, there's focused insight and primordial fury. So they swapped over ancestral wolf affinity here, and they put focused insight over here. But the nice thing is that they actually made it a 1-point talent, like I thought. So this is very, very good because now every time you cast a flame shock, it's going to reduce the mana cost of your next heal by 20% and increase its healing effectiveness by 30%. And I think, like, if you just do the math, I think you're always going to want to take this over primordial fury. And the reasoning is because when you're taking focused insight, it's automatically increasing your healing by 30% over a flame shock, whereas you have to crit for primordial fury. And my crit chance is like 14% or something like that in PvP, so it's very low. And so you basically have a 14% chance to hit for like 50% heal, whereas focused insight, every time you cast a flame shock, instantly 30%, and it's 20% less mana, which is also a big deal because we don't really get a lot of mana. So I would make a weak aura for focused insight. I have one on my profile at Wago. If you want to copy that, you can move it around wherever you want. But let's go ahead and go over the Shaman tree now. So immediately, one of the first changes is Astral Shift. So Astral Shift got buffed. So instead of lasting for 8 seconds, now it's 12 seconds. Now, if you go down here to the very next talent, Plains Traveler, it only reduces the cooldown of Astral Shift now instead of increasing the duration because that got built into Astral Shift baseline. But Astral Bulwark got an extra 5% damage reduction, so now instead of 15%, it's 20%. So if you pair that with Astral Shift, it'll be 60% for 12 seconds, which I think is what you're going to want to do here. Plains Traveler just doesn't seem worth it. Just a cooldown reduction over an actual extra damage reduction seems a lot better, especially in fast-paced metas like we have right now, where it seems like everything dies within 2 minutes anyways, or within a minute and a half. So chances are you might not even get a second Astral Shift. Now, the other next change is Thunder's Pause got buffed quite substantially by approximately 3 times. So before, this would only occur once every 60 seconds. Now it's every 20 seconds. And whenever you use Ghost Wolf, it removes snares, increases the movement speed by an additional 25% for the first 3 seconds. And so this actually seems like it might be worth it, taking over Spirit Wolf. Spirit Wolf does still seem like a strong contender, especially for openers, but Thunder's Pause is pretty enticing to me. I like the fact that we can get out of snares basically every 20 seconds now. But the problem I see with this is what happens if you're not snared and you use this because you just want to get away. Is this going to use Thunderous Pause on cooldown even though you don't have any snares on you? I think it's going to. So you have to like kind of be able to watch for your weak aura and be able to take advantage of this, which might be kind of a pain in the ass. I wish this would only activate if it removed a snare, which it might. I'm not too sure. I haven't tested it, which is probably going to be the very next thing I do when I go in the game is I'm going to test some of these talents to make sure I understand them a little bit better. But you guys can let me know in the comments if this actually will activate if you're not snared, which I think it will, but not too sure. But either way, I still think it's going to be worth taking over Spirit Wolf now. I like the freedom removal, which would pair very nicely with Spirit Walk here. But the problem I think with Spirit Walk is that it's going to be kind of annoying because it might override Thunder's Pause here. So like if I use Spirit Walk and I'm in Ghost Wolf, is it going to also activate Thunder's Pause even though I removed the movement pairing effects and I increased my movement speed? You know, so I'm kind of curious as to how all these interactions are going to work with slows and roots, and it seems like it might be kind of a headache and there might be a lot of overlap, but maybe it'll be occurring so fast and these cooldowns are so short that maybe you won't have to worry about it as much as I'm thinking you might have to. Maybe I'm just being a bit paranoid, but as a shaman, we've all been pretty trained to be paranoid. So, but Go with the Flow down here also got buffs, so now Spirit Walk, instead of being 15 seconds, which it still shows here, which I think is wrong. I don't think they fixed it. Because if we go here, Uh, so go with the flow now reduces the cooldown of Spirit Walk by 10, 20 seconds, was 7.5, 15 seconds, but it doesn't show that in the tooltip here. But this is supposed to be 20 seconds, so now your Spirit Walk will have a 40-second cooldown instead of 1 minute cooldown. But I don't know. So if these overlap too much and then Thunder's Pause is very strong on its own, I might stick with Gust of Wind here, which is what I have. But another thing, Brimming with Life got moved up here. It was down here, which I still think this talent is really stupid. Just specking into 8% max health, it seems completely unnecessary to me. I wish they would just delete this, move this stuff up or something, and just give this to us baseline. I don't understand why this is a talent, but let's move on. So Ancestral Wolf Affinity, as I said at the very beginning, this got moved over from Focused Insight. And now this is just baseline utility that we get as just extra. So this is actually very nice. I welcome this change. I think it's good because now we can get both this and Focused Insight. I do like this a lot. I think it adds a lot of very good utility that Shaman should have. Earth Elemental is over here, which we can easily get by just specking into Wind Shear. We can get Tremor Totem, Earth Grab, all pretty easily. So we get all those totems that we have grown to know and love. Fire and Ice, obviously we take that. And now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because now if you look here, Earth Shield, it's not tied to Earth Elemental anymore. Now it's tied to Chain Heal, which is a talent that we do not want to take. It might have some niche utility with like Nature Swiftness or something, but I highly doubt there's ever going to be a situation where this is going to be useful, because it only jumps 15 yards, and you should not be 15 yards to basically any of your teammates. There are obviously times where you have to, where you pillar hug and try to get away from their offensive cooldowns, but if they have a hybrid or if they have double melee, you're never really going to want to be within 15 yards of, especially your healer, because now you're just putting them in range for possible CC effects. So Chain Heal doesn't really seem like it's going to be worth it. Earth Shield and Elemental Orbit are tied to those now. So I don't know how we're going to get Earth Shield. I don't know if it's going to be worth it to spec into Chain Heal in order to get these, but you guys will have to let me know what you think. I don't think it's worth it, but it seems like it might be a theory crafting thing. They might have to actually calculate all the passive healing from like Healing Stream with Swirling Currents, and to see how that buds up to Earth Shield. Like, does this offset Earth Shield enough to where we don't need it anymore? But another thing too is, without Surging Shields, now we're not getting extra Maelstrom generation either from being attacked. And this was nice when you're being trained, because you're building up Maelstrom. Then you can use that Maelstrom on something like Earth Shock, which you can use on your Surge of Power, like Frost Shock Roots or something like that, or an extra Flame Shock dot, so you can re-dot both the melee up. I just don't know. I don't think it's worth getting these anymore. I think now that we have Healing Stream, we can get Swirling Currents, which I think is dumb that this is a 2-point talent to just literally buff Healing Stream now. I think that's kind of dumb. This might give us enough passive healing, but the healing isn't too much of a concern, as I'll get to down here with these talents, but let's continue on. So now we have Hex and Nature's Guardian. So these you'll probably always get these as well. And then we can get Thunderstorm, Lightning Lasso. But the weird thing here is that Nature's Guardian is supposed to be over here, because on the patch notes they said Nature's Guardian has swapped positions with Totemic Surge, but they're both in the same spot. So I don't know if this is intended. I'm assuming that they just forgot, or they just messed up or something, but this should be here and this should be here. And that kind of fucks it up, because now instead of being able to just get Nature's Guardian and go down here, now Totemic Surge is going to be here. I don't really like Totemic Surge. I don't think it's going to be worth it. Again, this is something you guys will have to let me know your opinions on. I think, what is it now? It's supposed to be 6 seconds. I think this tooltip is correct. It's supposed to be 6 seconds with 2 points. 6 seconds, like maybe off your Healing Stream, your Grounding Totem, like those kind of totems, it might be worth it. But I mean, I feel like 2 points overall for 6 seconds just isn't worth it. But I'm not too sure. Like Elemental Warding here, I feel like it would just be worth it to get this over Totemic Surge. Like, would you guys rather have 4% passive mana reduction, magic damage reduction, or would you guys rather have 6-second totem cooldown reduction? I feel like I'd rather have 4% passive mana damage reduction. But so let me know what you guys think. Another thing that changed was enfeeblement over here. And I'm trying to figure out where to get a point to get that because I want to try it out and see how useful it is. The reason I think it might not be as useful as we think it is, because, I mean, when do you normally use Hex, right? You normally use Hex most of the time on the healer. And healers are mostly range, so when they get slowed, unless their DPS are just like mindless and they're line of sighting their healer a lot, this shouldn't matter that much. But again, for like lower brackets, this could actually be very strong because now, say you hex the healer and then you bring the melee behind line of sight, the healer can't catch up in time, and then you guys can have a really good use of your cooldowns on them. But I feel like at higher brackets, this is going to have a lot less value because now their DPS are just going to stay next to, like, around the healer. They're going to try to get them broken out of hex, but I don't know. This still might have some good use. I'm trying to figure out where I could get a point from. If you guys think you see a point somewhere that's worth taking, let me know. I can't figure out where to get a point from. I don't want to take elemental warding out because I'm planning ahead for them to swap these two. Because now if Totemic Focus is over here, or Totemic Surge is over here, I can't get Thunderstorm anymore. Unless I go into Elemental Warding or Totemic Surge. So I would rather get Elemental Warding. But either way, it's like it's still 2 points I have to use. Whereas if Nature's Guardian stays here, I could take these 2 points out, and then I can get Enfeeblement, and I could get like Mana Spring. So it'd be really fucking nice if they just kept Nature's Guardian here. I really hope they don't move it over here. I don't know why they feel like they need to move it over here, especially when Totemic Surge like fits well with this side of the tree anyways, because you have 2 totems that it's connected to. But I guess I could see this being over here because of Totemic Projection, Focus, and all these totems. I don't know. I just wish they would keep it here because it gives us more options. But I would run Enfeeblement and Mana Spring if I could spec out of Elemental Warding or Totemic Surge, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to. So we'll go ahead and put those back into Elemental Warding for now until we find definitively whether or not that's supposed to be there. So now Spirit Walkers and Spirit Walkers Aegis are both down here now. So we can still get this pretty easily, which is very nice. Ancestral Guidance now, though, is actually huge. This is such a good cooldown to have early on in the tree. I'm actually surprised they moved it up here. That's how good it is. I actually think Ancestral Guidance is strong, like way better than Nature Swiftness. Because for 10 seconds, you heal like your entire team for 25% of your damage. That's huge. If you use this during your burst and your team is low, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to top everyone because of how much damage Elemental does right now. And it ties back into what I was saying before about how one of our defensives is our damage. So this is basically a strong defensive because of our damage. And now we can actually get Nature Swiftness too, which is also cool because now if we pair Nature Swiftness with a Focused Insight buff, we can guarantee like a very strong instant healing surge, especially if we get Refreshing Waters and we use it on ourselves. So this will be like a very nice lifesaver. I think this is very cool to pair with. I like all this additional healing. I think our healing is going to be in a very, very good spot right now. Or like in this patch. The only thing I still worry about is I feel like our actual passive damage reduction isn't going to be enough. I think the only the healing is super nice. Now we just need like one more. If they could give us one more defensive, like one more small wall somewhere, I feel like then they could nerf our damage a little bit. But that's only if this healing is actually as strong as I think it's going to be. I don't know how strong healing stream is going to be with Swirling Currents. I don't know if this is going to be enough to offset the passive healing from Earth Shield with Elemental Orbit and Surging Shields, because Earth Shield heals you from being attacked, which also is increased by the Surging Shields. which also gives you Maelstrom, which gives you utility, and it deals damage. But the Earth Shield also increases your healing done on the target by 20%. And so like that 20% is very, very strong because it's a percentage. So now when you pair that with like Focused Insight and for Refreshing Waters, if we could get Earth Shield, this would be some very, very good healing. But the problem with Earth Shield, even before these changes, was that it would just get instantly dispelled. And that's another thing that I think Blizzard needs to work on fixing is like Earth Shield's dispellable, Spirit Walker's dispellable, Nature Swiftness is dispellable. I even think Ancestral Guidance is dispellable. I'm not too sure about that one, but I think this is dispellable. And like our Flame Shocks are dispellable. And yeah, we have Control of Lava, but it's so worth it to just dispel a Flame Shock over getting hit by Control of Lava. They need to make Control of Lava have more dispel protection, or just get rid of Control of Lava and just make it so you can't dispel Flame Shock. Like I would rather they just did that. Or give Flame Shock no cooldown. That would also be another option. Like maybe we have to spend more globals, but at least we don't have to wait 4.5 seconds for every single Flame Shock. I don't know. I feel like they could just do something better. So I really like this build. I'd like to be able to get Mana Spring for Arena. I'd really like to try out Enfeeblement, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to do anything because this build just seems like it's going to be super strong defensively. I'd also like to be able to try Spirit Walk with Go with the Flow and maybe get Creation Core again, but it seems like I'd have to sacrifice too many good points over here in this tree in order to get those. And I'm also concerned about Spirit Walk overlapping with Thunder's Pause. A few concerns, just the Earth Shield, Surging Shields, Spirit Walk with Go with the Flow with Thunder's Pause, and the Nature's Guardian being here. I'm not sure if they intend it to be there, because then I could be able to get Mana Spring and Enfeeblement. So let me know what you guys think about these changes, whether or not you feel like Enfeeblement's worth it. Do you think Mana Spring's worth it? Would you rather take Elemental Warding over Totemic Surge? Do you think it's worth sacrificing some points down here for Chain Heal, Earth Shield, and Elemental Orbit? I just really don't think so, because I mean, look how many talents we already have up here that are like almost mandatory. Like you have to have Purge, you have to have Ancestral Wolf, you have to have Tremor. And so I feel like we'd have just too many points up here at that point. But let me know what you guys think also about Spirit Walk with Go the Flow and Thunder's Pause. I think I still want to run Gust of Wind. Yeah, but I think that's everything, guys. So if you want to catch me on a live stream, be sure to go on over to Twitch at twitch.tv/metallurgy, where I mostly stream on the weekends, usually Saturday, around like 7, 8-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also sometimes do like a random surprise stream throughout the week. You can catch me doing those sometimes, like maybe if there's like a big patch day, or if for some reason I don't have my kids. But let me know what you guys think about all these changes down in the comment section below, what you think about my tree, what you think about my concerns. Let me know if you guys see something I'm not seeing, or if there's something I misinterpreted, or there's a change that did happen that I didn't mention. And until then, guys, if there's another change in the calculator, or if they add a new change to the patch notes or something, I'll let you guys know, and maybe I'll do like an updated video. But until then, guys, I'll see you later. And again, let me know what you guys think. I'm very, very curious to see what everyone thinks about this new tree. So later, guys.